Welcome to Insights Live. I'm Rebecca Selby, joined now by Guy Courtin, VP and Principal Analyst at Constellation Research. How are you doing, Guy?
Good, Rebecca. How are you?
Doing well, thanks. I'm super excited to be here for another Insights and to be able to sit down with you.
Likewise. Now we're in Vegas and not Nashville, but still
Next
beautiful.
year. Next year.
Back to humidity.
Back to Nashville, so join us there. You know, I wanted to talk to you today about some trends in manufacturing. You have a really unique perspective as an analyst. Can you tell us what you're seeing?
Sure, Rebecca. I think there's a couple of trends we're seeing in manufacturing today, and a lot of sort of existing trends that are just sort of continue to evolve. One is sort of a consolidation of manufacturing, so getting closer to the customer, so nearshoring, things of that nature. Another one is really sort of shortening the manufacturing life cycle, right? So no longer do we have the luxury as a manufacturer to take long lead times and manufacturing times, because really the third big one we're seeing is consumer. Right. The consumer, whether it's B2B or B2C, is really driving that relationship. And manufacturers, the savvy ones, are the ones that are addressing this in numerous ways, or keeping the consumer top of mind when they make their decisions. So sort of starting from that point forward, the big trend is really the consumer. And then it's driving things like nearshoring, it's driving things like shorter life cycles, more customization, and it's really putting a strain on manufacturers to address that.
Well, and we know from research that manufacturers are focused on growth.
Yes.
What should manufacturers be thinking about now or really considering now that will set them up for future growth?
You know, growth is something that I think most industries are thinking of, but especially in manufacturing, because that's one of the engines of the economy and how they grow. You know, one of the things I think they need to start thinking about today to set themselves up for tomorrow with regards to growth is to look at new disruptive technologies that can help grow or accelerate growth. So take, for example, the Internet of Things, a hot topic. But what does that mean for manufacturers? Right, today a lot of manufacturers have already put sensors in onto their warehouse floor, their manufacturing floor. It's almost like it's been around for 10 plus years. And now IoT's come up and it's like, hey, we have a cool name for it, but we've been doing it for a long time.
Right.
But also like 3D printing, right? How has that changed some of the processes in terms of the products you make, where you make them, the batch size, things of that nature. So I think it's disruptive technologies like that, and then there's a whole host of other things like robotics that we already see, but you know, how is that going to evolve? You know, wearables for their employees, how does it work on their factory floor and beyond? So we look at these disruptive technologies that manufacturers have to consider today for tomorrow. Now, some might already be doing it,
right.
Some might not, but either way, they have to start thinking about and doing sort of an audit, if you will, of what they're doing today with disruptive technology and figure out what's important down the road, and then almost start to say, hey, are we ready? Can we do it? Are we doing it already today? And if not, what do we need to do to be prepared for tomorrow?
So for those who aren't, what would be your recommendation?
I think for those who aren't, it's to take a hard look at these disruptive technologies and to figure out which ones can enhance existing processes and which ones could potentially open up new processes that they otherwise never thought of or they didn't think they could achieve. But they have to do it today, and they have to take an assessment of again, where they are, what they want to do, and where these disruptive technologies could potentially come in and enhance some of these business processes.
Anything that can set them up to manage those complexities that can come with growth?
You know, there's sort of no magic bullet, unfortunately. I think it's really, you know, striving to get a better understanding and view of their business, and some of that comes back to the digital aspect, right? So the data that's flowing through all of their operations and things like that, and understanding from that data, what can I learn? What can I do better? But it's also a lot of hard work, right? Like everything, right? There's no magic bullet to this. What's exciting is that there's a lot of opportunity. What's sometimes daunting is that with that opportunity comes a lot of time and effort and blood and sweat and tears. And sometimes people aren't willing to take that, but there's no magic bullet, unfortunately.
Thank you so much for sitting down with me once
Thank
again.
you.
I appreciate it. If you have questions about anything we've discussed today, please visit epicor.com.